Story. That is President Cyril Ramaphosa and other African leaders. They're heading to Russia for the second leg of the peace mission. Yesterday, they met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Well, he wants Russia out of his country before peace talks commence. Meanwhile, Polish authorities say they grounded a South African plane with security personnel and journalists on board because it carried dangerous goods. That was the statement that was released. They say South Africa did not have permission to bring the arms into the country. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila has got more from Warsaw.
The impact of the Ukraine and Russian conflict was at the focus today at the peace talks initiated by the African Union heads of state in Kyiv, Ukraine. Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighted the impact on prices and growth in the grain as well as the fertilizer prices because of the ongoing conflict, suggesting that a diplomatic and a peaceful solution needs to be resolved. Now, President Zelensky from Ukraine highlighted how this also needed a diplomatic stance and highlighting the terrorists that Russian President Putin is, also highlighting that missiles that happened, in fact, on the Friday that the diplomats and heads of states were in Ukraine was a sign of how President Putin wasn't in control of the situation. Now, on Saturday, of course, we're expecting day 2 of these peace talks, this time around in St. Petersburg in Russia, where we're expecting President Putin, the president of Russia, to open those discussions mid-afternoon, of course, and where he'll be followed by the AU chairperson. Now, on Friday, of course, we saw the disembarkment finally of the Presidential Protecting Services that were allowed to disembark at around 3:30 on the Friday afternoon. That's after more than 24 hours after they landed in the Warsaw Chopin airport and weren't allowed to disembark. Some are suggesting that these are geopolitical issues, of course, where we were told even by the General Wali Roda that these were racially driven issues where the permits were wanted, and even upon issuing those permits they were still denied the weapons that were accompanying them, and in fact denied them to disembark. We don't know what the situation will be, as those at least 100 presidential services personnel are still in Poland. Not sure if they'll be joining then the delegation and those that will be heading for round 2 and the second leg of the peace talks. I'm Aviwe Mtila in Poland.